Thank you, Professor Colson Thomas. Thank you, my panelists, for the really informative sessions. Um, Thank you, everyone who's here in this audience, for being here. I recognize that there are a lot of young people in the audience, so I'll try and customize what I have to say for this specific audience. So all those, well, some of the people that I saw yawning and dozing off, heads up, please pay attention. There's going to be some stuff here for you. Why do I stand here? Like the chair said, I bring to this setting a different perspective from what we have heard so far, an entrepreneur's perspective, an engineer's perspective. Having worked in solar energy for something like 10 years in the US, then 10 years in India now, having co-founded this company and grown it from 0 employees to about 170 employees today. We are one of the top few firms in the country when it comes to serving commercial and industrial customers in India with solar power plants and increasingly solar plus storage power plants, which are typically behind the meter, but also as time passes, setting up ground mount plants which through which we use the provide electricity using the grid through what is called the open access mechanism. So I will actually try and be brief and have a set of recommendations, and I will end with a set of recommendations for the young people, the students who are here, right? So so there are a few things that I would like to mention here. You know, the statistics which are widely available on the internet, you can actually go out and look, and you'll find that in solar, something like a lack of jobs, full-time equivalent jobs have been created in the last 4 or 5 years. Of that, interestingly, about 38,000 jobs have been in rooftop solar. Now, why is that relevant? Another 38,000 jobs have been formed in utility scale solar. Now, this is data from a very respected think tank called CEEW. You're welcome to go look it up. But the thing is, why is that relevant? Because here's the key thing. 38,000 jobs, full-time equivalent jobs in solar rooftops have come, through building only about 4 gigawatts of solar power plants. Whereas in the same 38,000 jobs which have gotten created in utility scale solar have come through the creation of somewhere around 28 gigawatts or 30 gigawatts of solar projects. So that's a huge difference. 4 gigawatts, 38,000 jobs, and 28 gigawatts and 30,000 jobs. So that's why the focus on rooftops. Rooftops are important. You know, what is being built behind the meter to serve commercial and industrial consumers is important. It's also important for other reasons. Power gets consumed on the spot. There's no transmission and distribution losses. It helps these commercial and industrial enterprises be more competitive by reducing their cost of electricity and have a visibility on where their cost of electricity is going to go in the next 20, 30 years, right? So I will start where, you know, most of this discussion, what I have to say is more about recommendations. So I'll start where most people end, which is with recommendations. To the government and the deep policymakers such as Mr. Dinesh Babu here, they've really been focusing on this problem and working on solving this problem. To the government, the recommendation is to keep the focus, but also keep more of a focus on decentralized energy, like Mr. Dinesh Babu was saying. Decentralized energy, by the way, is going to be hugely about storage as well. Energy storage is going to be a big part of the equation because electric vehicles are coming, and so we are. You know, imagine these rivers of fuels that we are using in our vehicles today being powered by electricity. So that electricity will have to come from somewhere. It will have to get stored, just like fuel tanks at petrol pumps today. And it will need to be to get into the vehicles so that they can provide us the very, very precious mobility that we value so much. Focus on defining and updating the syllabi and keep doing what you're doing in skill development. Having been part of some of these training of trainers for State Bank of India and other personnel, I really know the value that these trainings are adding, bringing in real industry knowledge and information and presenting it and making it actionable for bankers and other key stakeholders. So that's huge. Um, there's another thing which needs to happen, which is more of a focus on reporting of jobs. The industry is not so good about reporting jobs, part-time or full-time, to the government, and the government is not so good about collecting data also. So that's improving over time. That needs to improve some more. To my fellow entrepreneurs or people from companies who might be here, there are some recommendations, which is focus on, you can't take the eye off the ball in terms of the short term, but you have to focus on the long term as well, which means figuring out the training requirements of your company. It's not easy to spend money, precious portions of profits on training people, but it has to be done. It is something that you can't do without. The industry is changing every day. The whole power grid, what it is today is not what it's going to be tomorrow. So there's a need to update the people that are working for us, and they need to be trained, and so companies need to spend money. It's kind of hard to find the budgets to do that, but we have to. One key thing that we hear from many of our peers in the industry is that, look, we train people when they are on the job with us, and a lot of, Mrs. Swaroop, this goes to one of the points that you raised, which is through apprenticeship. So a lot of people get trained through these apprenticeships, and not so many through formal trainings. At least this is a small and growing industry. But the apprenticeship model is there in the sense everyone reports to somebody who's more experienced, and that's how people learn. That's how you figure out what your job is, how to get it done. So don't be afraid of training people. A lot of companies say, oh, if you train people, tomorrow they'll go ahead and leave us and go for the next possible job, right? So to the companies, the recommendation is to do that. Then to the companies also, the recommendation is to focus on soft skills. We cannot assume in the companies that incoming candidates have these basic soft skills capabilities to collaborate, to manage projects in time, your own time as well as the company's time, to interact on digital media. How exactly do you talk about the company or what you do on digital media? To interact with people inside and outside the firm. How do you interact with people inside the firm, outside the firm? What's the difference? Where does your friendship end and you as a professional begin? What can you tell your friends who used to be your buddies in college, but they work for a different company now? What you can tell them, what you can't tell them, and how to manage young people's careers. And finally, to the candidates. So to the candidates, to the young people who are sitting in this audience, either young job holders or job aspirants, the hard skills that you guys are learning, financial analysis, engineering analysis, how to solve problems. The hard skills are actually, the most important thing that you can learn is how to learn. You have to keep learning all your life. It's never going to stop. You will have to keep learning all your life. So learn how to learn, keep on solving problems. The hard skills will come your way. You have to keep learning them, keep applying them. My recommendation to you, if you're looking at jobs in solar energy or in renewable energy, is look more at decentralized energy. That's another recommendation, because there are more jobs. They're kind of a straightforward thing, just a higher probability of landing with a job. The key thing to focus there is, to figure out there is, what do you prefer in terms of scale? Do you prefer the commercial industrial, anywhere from 5, 10, 15 kilowatt to hundreds of kilowatts to 5 to 10 megawatts type of projects versus hundreds of megawatts of types of projects? There are people that I know who are happiest when they are doing the largest projects, right? To repeat the point that I made earlier, train yourselves. That's another recommendation. Nobody is going to focus on your training. So one of the simple ways of training yourselves is to work hard, but also work smart. Figure out what is relevant for the company. Figure out what the problems are, and don't run away from the problems. Don't make it somebody else's problem. Try to solve the problems yourself. Take help when needed, but it's important that you actually spend the time with your colleagues to try to solve the toughest problems that the company is facing. Be curious. That's another recommendation to you guys, to the young people. The world is changing around you, right? One way or the other, you're going to be part of the world. Now, there's a statement about policy making which applies very well to young people here, okay? They say, as far as policy making is concerned, either you are at the table making the policy, or you are on the table being carved out. So you have to figure out whether you want to be at the table or you're going to be on the table. It's a choice. Finally, help others. This is the final recommendation to the young people in the audience. Help others. Don't be insecure, because you will not protect your job by hoarding skills. This is not that world that we live in. You share your skills, you share your capabilities, because what is going to happen is the only way you will protect your jobs, protect your future, is by outgrowing your jobs. So keep that in mind, and that's the last recommendation to the younger people in the audience. That's it from my side. Thank you very much. Table making the policy, or you are on the table being carved out. So you have to figure out whether you want to be at the table or you're going to be on the table. It's a choice. Finally, help others. This is the final recommendation to the young people in the audience. Help others. Don't be insecure, because you will not protect your job by hoarding skills. This is not that world that we live in. You share your skills, you share your capabilities, because what is going to happen is the only way you will protect your jobs, protect your future, is by outgrowing your jobs. So keep that in mind, and that's the last recommendation to the younger people in the audience. That's it from my side. Thank you very much.